again, Spoke here. You may remember me from such shows as ENN, LRH, or Hacker Rehab. I'm here today with something totally new and unexpected. Prepare to be amazed by our stunning commentary, deft chats, and witty critiques. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, Not ENN. This show will explore and attempt to make sense of current events on IRC, FNet, and beyond. For the time being, Logic and I are doing this show as an experiment and hope to release more episodes in the future. We invite you, our viewers, to participate in the production of this show by sending us logs, pictures, or video segments from IRL or IRC in general. The opinions expressed on the Not FNet news report may not reflect those of Spoke, Logic, or associated PP4L productions. We will do our best to handle sensitive matters sensitively. Not FNet news cannot be held liable for any DDoS, doxing, or life ruin that may occur related to the cast, or any damages as a result of the opinions expressed. Please exercise caution when listening and defer all concerns to the Not FNet news complaint department by messaging SciMaster on FNet. If you feel angry after hearing this cast, you have been trolled. Now, before we get started, I want to mention that while some of the stories throughout this show might be a bit dated, we're still dialing in our workflow in hopes of becoming a more agile news team. If all goes well, we would like to release episodes on a regular weekly or bi-weekly basis. In the meantime, please feel free to send us any content from IRL or IRC. Everything counts at this stage, so we welcome the contributions. We open today with entertainment recommendations by Pyrex. His first recommendation is American Rust. Why? The plot of this series is that a kid supposedly kills an ex-cop, and the kid is the son of a cop's lover. The cop investigates the story, and it goes from there. The guy that plays the cop is Jeff Daniels. I've honestly never seen him play in a serious role before and only know him from Dumb and Dumber. That's one of the reasons I looked into it more before I even considered watching an episode. He actually played the role quite well. The season just ended with 8 episodes. The ending was great. Definitely an on-the-seat kind of series. It does get slow sometimes, and there are some questionable things that probably didn't need to be so deep into the series, but fuck it, we out here. Peep game and let your number one glassware know what you thought. Gang, gang, 5 gang, whole lot of 5 gang shit. Shout outs to my gang, Pyrex. He didn't want to spoil the series for any of you, so he kept it brief, but I'm sure if it came from Pyrex, it's a solid recommendation. That dude basically has a copy of the internet on his cold storage, and he's seen the best and worst of what the entertainment world can offer. Solid guy. Next up, Hitler aesthetic. I had an interesting interaction with Stratum, Dark Mage, and Vicodin, sorry, wrong pill, a couple of weeks ago in LRH about Vicodin's Nazi aesthetic. Stratum called Vicodin out because he had previously linked a picture of Hitler, of a Hitler painting he had in his house. There were some other pictures of his home decor shared that featured a Kalashnikov, some ammo, pro-ICE propaganda, and a bunch of MAGA swag. Stratum said it made him look like a racist. Vicodin insisted that it was only a store of value and didn't mean anything at all. I'm just going to go out and express my personal opinion. I think it doesn't make you look like you're not a racist. There's a more likelier chance that you could be a racist than not a racist with a thing like that in your house, but I guess context is everything. So, Dark Mage, being the upstanding guy he is, jumped into White Knight Vicodin and defend his right to boldly flaunt a Hitler aesthetic without being called a racist. Lots of names were called. Uh, Very defensive conversation in general. Not wanting to assume anything, I attempted to get more context out of Vicodin, but there really wasn't much context to grep. He said it was just an interesting painting and that his choice to display the painting in his house was not a representation of his values or his beliefs. The lack of contrast to this piece of artwork in political themes of his home decor make me wonder if he puts as little thought into his political beliefs as he puts into his personal style. Maybe people like Stroughton and I are just not sophisticated enough to appreciate his Hitler aesthetic. Cute dog, though. And now, I'm pleased to present to you a holiday cooking segment with logic, without whom this show would not be possible.
So, first thing you're going to need, fresh turkey, never frozen, young, garlic, onion, celery, bacon, and this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense quite yet, but mayonnaise, okay? You're going to want to get your turkey about 4 days before Thanksgiving, or whenever you intend to cook it, because it's going to spend most of that time falling in the refrigerator. It's incredibly important. Obviously, you don't want to put a frozen turkey in the oven. The day before you intend to cook it, in this case, it's the day before Thanksgiving, we're going to start the brine, which is the whole reason that we need a big-ass pot. Alright, so now that's out of the plastic, there's a couple of important things, kind of turkey 101 stuff. They almost always have the guts that come in it. This is my favorite part of the whole turkey. This is the turkey's penis. It's one of the largest penises in all of the animal kingdom, except for mine. You also you want to make sure that you look down in its fuck hole and make sure that that you get all the stuff out of there that might be in there. Another thing that's important is the package of guts, which is usually stuff where the other fuckhole is. Do love a dong. Alright, so turns out we also need salt too. And you're going to put a ton of salt in the bottom of this. I mean, 2 cups. Big shout out to Salt Gang. And then once you have your huge pile of salt in the bottom there, you're going to fill it up about halfway with water. We're just going to stir it until it dissolves. So the most important part, in my opinion, is to get the breast side down. As long as the breast is submerged, then we're good to go. Alright, the next step is to put it in the fridge. Shout out to Truly Team. Alright, it's the next day. I'm going to transfer the turkey to a tray. I'm going to turn the oven to 400. And of course we got to remove the plastic here. That thing comes out of there, you don't want that stuck in there. Now that I've let it sit out for a couple of hours to get to room temperature, the next thing I'm going to do is pat it down to dry the outside of it. We are, by the way, cooking this thing breast down. That's pretty much the most important part. If you forget to do it breast down, the whole operation will fail. Alright, next step, of course, is stuffing the bird. I have here a bunch of onions, celery, and, of course, a handful of garlic. Garlic goes in first. You will not be eating these vegetables. These are merely to maintain the moisture on the inside of the bird and also impart a little bit of flavor. Probably the worst thing you could ever do is stuff it with stuffing. That is a huge fuck up. Stuff it with your dick instead of stuffing. Literally stuff it with anything else besides stuffing. Alright, and this next step is super fucked up. We're going to create a berry. This will not change the flavor at all, which is shocking but true. Doesn't have to be a ton. That's kind of a ton, but whatever. Like a quarter of an inch thick. And you want to make sure that you get it on as much of the surface as possible. It's preventing the oven from drying out the bird. You also want to get it down on the breast, of course, because the most important thing is the breast. You're gonna have to trust me on this one. I've torched over, 200 turkeys in my lifetime. There's a period of like 10 years where I cooked like 1 or 2 a month. But the mayo is only half the shield. It's only half the chat armor for our turkey. The other half is the bacon. Now this does impart flavor. The most important place to put the bacon wrap is up towards the breast. Usually, depending on the size, 1.5 packs is good, but you can get away with 1 pretty easily. The way this works, when we're done with this, as the turkey is resting for at least half an hour, it will begin to draw back in the juices into the meat. And what you've done is you've made a bunch of bacon juice available, which gets sucked up into the meat, and especially sucked up into the breast. Alright, and now the bird goes into the oven for 20 minutes at 400. Wait. Good night. Almost forgot the most important part. Fucking liver. Gizzard. Heart. And my favorite. The dome. And I just slapped those right in there. And now it can go into the oven at 400 for 20 minutes. Just like that. Okay, and after 20 minutes, I'm going to turn it down to 325. And it's going to cook at 325 for the next 2 hours. And so after 2 hours at 325, we're going to do the remainder of our time at 225. What in the fuck is that? So the total time is 13 minutes per pound, and so for mine at 13.5 pounds, it's just under 3 hours, 2.95 hours. Okay, and now it's gonna come out of the oven. Oh fuck yeah! Look at this fucking beautiful fucking thing. Hell yeah! I forgot about this. Oh yeah! And there we go. Turbo turkey. And now it's gonna rest for 30 minutes. And by rest, it means don't fuck with it. Leave it alone. Just let it sit there.
Oh, are these toothpicks kosher?
Here. I'm such a fucking idiot. I wasn't even recording. Well, it's pretty fucking good. Anyways. Oh, Jesus, what an idiot.
Pound Philosophy was taken over Tuesday when Squirt was up to some old tricks and spoofed Free Dog's host to trick xartet's bot. Sidemaster tried his best not to be helpful and succeeded. xartet was able to recover the channel anyway thanks to an idle op that he contacted outside of IRC. The whole shenanigan lasted less than an hour and constituted the single greatest accomplishment in Squirt's life. If his mother could stand listening to any more tales about his exciting life on IRC, I'm sure she would be proud. Bex is back on IRC and causing quite a stir about nothing in particular and everything in general. She even lashed out at Cutie in Estrogen. Please keep an eye out if you manage to figure out why she's so pissed off so we can report on it. Thank you. Asshole of the Week. This episode's ATW, or Asshole of the week is Squirt, aka Lil Dribble, aka Ass Piss Incarnate. If you see this chatter, make sure to congratulate him on his accomplishment. It's a tough competition, but he took the cake. Months of goodwill between Jewbird and Dark Mage were done away with in Pound DRH Tuesday night. Great channel, highly recommend it. After Milkness called attention to an underhanded remark Jewbird made at Load. The offending remark was, quote, "Hey Load, maybe you can tape your name on the front of a good book that people care about and pretend you wrote it, LMAO, fucking Dark Mage tier loser." Milk was spilled, fingers were pointed, and chatters even vaguely associated with Jewbird were stripped of their ops. Milkness defended her tattling and pointed out that it isn't nice to use your friends as insults, but the crowd was tough. Not even Jira could fix it. Dark Mage resolved to script a state-of-the-art anti-Dark Mage sentiment detection system using AI text classification sentiment analysis engine. That's a mouthful. Using an AI text classification sentiment analysis engine in order to closely monitor any offhand remarks made by Jewbird away from Milkness's watchful eye. Some users tried to suggest that he just grepped logs, but to everyone's surprise, Dark Mage delivered on his vision with a fancy script to analyze all 2 lines of anti-Dark Mage sentiment by Jewbird. This story does have a happy ending, though, because by the end of it, Jewbird and Dark Mage made up. Ops were restored, and the only fractured relationship that remained was that of Milkness and Jewbird. Speaking of Jewbird, he's finally finished a fully functioning version of his super sick ANSI editor, ASCII-Bird. It's web-based, has lots of colors, caches your drawings so you don't lose them if you close your browser, and a host of other useful features. You can use it by visiting asciibird.jewbird.live, and we encourage you to check it out. In fact, yo Logic, you got that demo video?
And now for some ASCII-Bird.
Greetings, chat friends and chat pals. We're here today to do a little quick preview demo video of ASCII-Bird and its amazing features. We have an expected release, a public release for ASCII-Bird. It's in testing phase at the moment, so start of next year we might have a proper official release. For those who haven't tried it out yet, head over to asciibird.jewbird.live and you can use it yourself. You can make a new ASCII, import some ASCII. If you haven't seen it yet, let's check out some of these features we have in ASCII-Bird. You may have used ASCII Blaster before. You may have used some previous ASCII editing tools. However, in this case, this one's a little different. It might take a few minutes to get over that learning curve, but once you do, it's pretty fucking brilliant. So, what are we going to do here today? I mean, sure, fill tool. We've seen the fill tool before. I would think, let's do some layers. You heard right, chat friends. We're talking about layers in our ASCII. Let's add a layer here. I'll put some of this black over the top there. Great. It's always very soothing to draw ASCII blocks. Perhaps that's autism. In any case, we can show and hide this layer. That's pretty fucking cool. And we want to change this background. That's fine too. Let's put in a red color. And you see that shit? Layers is gonna fucking change the game. Let's merge this shit. Hell yeah. And this ASCII is off to a good start. Let's see what else we can do here. Might import another ASCII. Let's see what we got. Gordon Freeman. Do that. Do Satan Sick. Yeah, Satan Sick is a classic. I quite like it. You know, we got tabbed editing here. We don't fuck around here with ASCII-Bird. Pure features. So now we got this tab. Let's clear that. Clear out these blocks. we're gonna check out the next feature of ASCII-Bird, which is fucking cool. And that is the copy and pasting of blocks. Let's check this out. Let's get this SIG. I'm gonna hit Control C here. I'm gonna hit Control V. You see that? And now we got this brush here. This is saved. We can save this here. It's gonna end up in our library. So that's pretty cool. Never again will you lose a brush. And what are we gonna do here? Let's make a new ASCII. Still got this brush here. You can press E, flip it that way. You can press Q to flip it that way. Nice. And some other hidden sort of features. You know, we can draw the blocks here, or right click to remove them. That's what this update brush is about. If we change this, it won't update the brush, so we can put some purple blocks there. If we check this, it's gonna update the brush. There are a few different brushes here too. Circle. Circle's pretty good. Shout out to Cheese, helping out with the circle. And definitely getting their powers. You can use this right now. Otherwise, yeah, I would wait for the release. It's going to be great. If you want to get this ASCII on IRC, all you got to do is hit Control-Shift-C. You can paste that into your IRC client. You can even save it to a file. We can export it into HTTP post if you so desire. So that's just a little preview of ASCII-Bird here. And what it's about. It's the world's best IRC ASCII art editor. There's no doubt about that. That's pretty tripped out. So big shout outs to Anji for Satan Sig. Shout outs to Logic Spoke. Putting together a secret news show. Still don't know what it's about, but I hope this video makes it. Anyway, peace chat pals. I'll see you on the other side.
Retarded. Reaper just installed Linux that last month and wants to tell you all about it. For a good time, tell him that you don't use Linux, or that you do use Linux but differently than him. Don't expect him to listen to anything you have to say. Just sit back and bathe in the healthy explaining you will be receiving from someone who clearly knows more than you about computers. Let's take a moment to highlight some choice remarks from viewers like you. Kakama said, "My dad just said he was amazed at how I was racist and woke at the same time." It's such a nice compliment, teary face emoji. And a classic sniff line. "Got a shard of meth the size of a Game Boy Advance in my anus. Oops, wrong window. Guys, check out this cool band I found called Prodigy." And an appearance by Nance. "I've been 3 times vaxxed and breakthrough infected. Best of all worlds. Antifa antibody super soldier." Miss Nance, never thought you'd hear me say that, huh? But I do, and we hope to see you again soon, Nance.
Aloha everybody, it's Logic. xartet is going to tell you about what happened in D&D last time.
Yes, hello everybody, xartet here with a IRC D&D update, filling you in on last session's events. So last session we had hunkered down in this place called Gatemouth Keep, where we had slain this 2-tongued demon, or rather sorcerer. After slaying the sorcerer, we kind of rested up, and Kuntz and I learned some new spells. He brewed a potion. Logic found a dagger. Anji made some armor for Fisk. And we also came across this door that had inscription and worth around it. We went, after much deliberation with this door, and the dust and ice, salt around it, we decided to descend down into the dungeon where we saw this warlock, the Legion warlock we had been kind of chasing for the past couple of sessions, and he was talking to what looked like a corpse in one of the cells. Logic sneaks up on him, kind of stabs him. The sorcerer again takes off like he wants to do, But we begin talking with this corpse in the cell, only it's not a corpse, it's actually this decimated druid named Crozius. I recognize the name as kind of, this legendary druid, but he explains to us that kind of 80 years ago he had been chasing these same sorcerers, just like this sorcerer who he called Riptor, that jumped off the ledge into this kind of pit of mutated rats. He explained that he had been kind of chasing these kinds of sorcerers for a while now, except he's been locked up for 80 years because there is a comet that they have been trying to capture. I explained to him, to Crozius, that we believe this comet has been captured because the whole world outside is shit with, all the blight and the red rain and the whatnot. He's very sad at this, but we give him some food and water, some good berries and some water, and we take him back up into the keep to kind of let him rest up, in a proper bed with some proper food. He did explain to us a prophecy, a Worth prophecy, that said, when the south burns, Worth will bring forth great cleansing. So whatever Crozius has for us when he wakes up, I'm sure it's going to be good information. But that's it, everyone.
Sports news. This week's sports news segment centers on Presonic's Olympian level chugging in Pound 9X. Regular users will already be familiar with his /me cracks number of beers he's drank so far. We compiled a list of his last 7 chug counts per day of 14, 21, 15, 17, 22, and 17. We calculated an average of 19 beers cracked per day. Most of them were actually consecutive days, but we just compiled a list of 7 days. It's difficult to say how precise this beer count is, but from what we've logged, it's clear that Presonic is putting them back like an Olympian. Cheers, bro. This concludes our show for the week. Hope you all feel inspired to participate in making more. Until then, keep effing it great.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. Here's my rant, my first rant of 2022. I want people on IRC to be nice to each other. I want you to open your heart, show people kindness, and you can find love. And if you find love, you can fuck people. There, I'm done. Pretty good rant.